Okay, so this is my second video of the night. I'm trying to wrap them up and get them out of the way because I'm starting school this is Thursday, I'm starting school on Monday, my second semester, and I'm trying to keep them more up to date than I did for my first semester, my first year in general. So I'm trying to get requests and other things out of the way so that I can start in on my second semester and tell you how that's going the first week and so on and so forth. I was requested to kind of explain why I chose law, and also a little bit about my opinion about preparing for law school, before law school, and all that other jazz. So here's why I chose law. I feel like I've known, this is what I always say, because I actually did used to say when I was in third grade that I wanted to be a lawyer. I've always said that I wanted to be a lawyer. And let me just say this real quick, because it kind of annoys me when people say you are a good arguer. You should be a lawyer. You argue well, or you like to argue. That is not a great skill, first of all. It means you're confrontational and messy, probably. Or always yapping and giving this loudmouth opinion. So that's not that great of a compliment, and that has nothing to do, well, I wouldn't say nothing, but it's little skill used for law. I mean, you really have to be able to do research and back up what you're saying. If you're one of those people that get hot-headed and you get frustrated and you start being loud and trying to get your point across, law may not be for you, because you need to be able to research, and you need to be able to explain why you feel a certain way and apply the principles of the law to your case. So it's more than being good at arguing and things like that. But if you mean good at debate, good at public speaking, good at basically oral arguments in LRW is kind of like debate, then that may be that's a skill that you'll need. That's actually like I said, in a previous video we did oral arguments, which is kind of like debating. You have to do the research to back up what you're saying. You can't just say things and use cases and everything to back that up. So that's my little tidbit that I used to hear a lot, that I would be like, shut up. Anyway, so I used to say, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. I used to say that I wanted to do, let me backtrack. I have a bachelor's in criminal justice and a bachelor's in Spanish. I traveled abroad 3 times, and I was actually in Mexico for a summer during my undergrad, and I finished my 2 bachelor's in 3 years in undergrad because I came in with 18 credit hours. So in Mexico, I was finishing up my Spanish degree. However, I knew I wanted to go to law school. I knew that I needed to come back to the States and prep. But I was emailed that there was an opening for a graduate assistantship at the school that I went to. So I went ahead and was like, you know what? I'm going to apply for this graduate assistantship and see where that takes me. So I got a master's for free. I had my master's in public administration. And then after my master's, I needed to get started on the whole law thing. So I moved, and I worked at the school that I work at now. And even though I was overqualified for the job, I got my foot in the door, and now I am an academic advisor, which I'm perfect. That's fine there. And I think my education is supplemented. It's a match for my salary, basically. I don't know where my vocabulary is today. So I got my foot in the door, and I found out, I was just working until law school started. But I found out that the school that I was at had a tuition program where they paid all of your tuition, and you got taxed on it because it's like income. They count it as income. So you get taxed on it, but at income tax, I've never seen such a refund. So I was fine with that because I got it right back. it was a dilemma at first because I was like, I want to get it over with and go, full time. And then I thought, oh, but it's getting paid for. That's silly to pass up. And also get a paycheck. And my job is, sedentary. I sit at a desk. So it's not like I'm just doing really hard labor and, a bunch of that other stuff. So I went ahead and took the part-time law class because I wanted to go full-time. That's the only way you can get the tuition thing. You have to work full-time. And I did the math, and I looked up my classes, and what I did was look up, I went to different semesters to see when this class was offered, or this class that I'd be interested in, and I used my degree evaluation to see what classes I'd have to take versus what classes I could take as an elective. And so when I did that, I looked to see when they were offered, how often they're offered, and things like that. And after I did that research, I basically came up with a 3.5-year plan to where I could graduate. So pretty much I was like, well, I'm getting my school paid for. It's making me save because I get a big lump sum at income tax time. And I only have to go one more semester than the full-time students. I'll take it. So that's pretty much how I ended up where I am. But I didn't know what kind of law I wanted to do. I used to say, because of Spanish, that I wanted to be an international law. Then I used to say, like, corporate law, because they make the big bucks. But then I had to dig deep, and I got my master's in public administration, and we did, like, a lot of nonprofit organization. It was a lot of focus on that. And I realized that I really, really love nonprofit organizations, what they do, what they stand for, just the whole atmosphere, and I kind of wanted to be a part of that. And I also realized, especially when a lot of my family members heard that I was going to law school, I also realized why I wanted to go to law school. I know so many people that don't understand their rights, that don't know their rights, and that get just shafted by people, bigger companies, by landlords, just because they don't know the law and they don't have the access to the law, or a person that knows the law. And they also don't have the money. And I personally think you should not receive less justice just because your bank account shows less. And I found a company. It's called Equal Justice Works. You can go to equaljusticeworks.com, and I decided that was the kind of company I worked for. Now, for a while, I did say that I wanted to work for Equal Justice Works. That's actually, kind of a dream, but I would like to work there. It is a nonprofit organization, but if I just want to do advocacy work, and I know that I've been to a lot of school, but I've also gotten a lot of blessings along the way, and I'm not thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, and I want to give back and help the people that I grew up around. So that is what I want to do with law. That is why I decided I wanted to do that. Now, they always say you come in with law school knowing what you want to do, and then you change your mind along the way. So far, I haven't changed my mind. I actually spent that time, that first year when you change your mind, most students, they say, I actually spent that in undergrad and grad school changing my mind and not knowing what the heck I was talking about. So I feel pretty strongly about what I want to do, but we'll see. And, my third-year videos. My opinion about prepping for law school, I have a lot of students that come to my office and they want to do this and they want to do that and they want to do bio and they want to do English, and also I want to add pre-law studies, and I'm like, something's got to give. So the one that weighs the least, that's got to give. And so I asked them, why do you want to do pre-law? And they're like, well, eventually I want to go to law school, or eventually I want to be a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. And if your school has a pre-law program where if you're a pre-law scholar, you get automatic admission into it, great. But if you're just doing it for the certificate, I would rethink it, because nothing, and I don't want to knock anybody who has done pre-law. So And I'm not trying to say don't do it. I'm just saying look at your options. If it's just something to add, that's great. If you like the classes, that's great. Go ahead and do it. But I didn't do pre-law because I don't want a certificate. Nothing's going to prepare me. I talked to way too many people who said, I didn't get a degree in, I didn't have a pre-law studies. I didn't do any of that. Some of them do classes. Nothing prepares you for law school like law school. Nothing prepares you for LRW, even though they try to have legal writing classes, like LRW when you get into class. I have paralegals in my class, and they weren't prepared. So trust me when I say that you aren't prepared until you get into class and the teacher that is your LRW professor prepares you. On top of that, some of the pre-law programs, they do go down to, they make visits to the courthouse or they sit in on cases and blah, blah, blah. You can do that as a citizen. So just walk in and listen to certain cases. You can do that on your own if that's what you're into, if that's what you're going to the program for. So just find out the benefits, and if it'll cause you more time than you actually need. It's not necessary at all to get into law school. My friend he has been, actually my friend's husband, he has been a lawyer for about 7 years now, and he is doing great. He works in a nice firm, a big firm, and he does great work. And he's a great litigator, but it's very stressful. He didn't like that, so he did contract work, but I think he's doing something else now. But he had a degree in music. So anybody can go to law school. You just got to take the LSAT and go for it. You don't have to have a chemistry degree or anything like that. Also, a big one that people talk about is English. Like, oh, I want my vocab to be better. Like, English doesn't teach you law vocab. When you get into law school, LRW is going to have a crap ton of vocabulary for you to learn. Also, other classes like civil procedure and criminal law. I mean, you're going to learn vocabulary all day. It's not going to be the same as you learned in English. And to be able to speak better, it's not just about speaking. I mean, if you need help with your public speaking or whatever, if you feel like that'll help you, that's great. But creative writing or any of that, that's not going to help. Again, LRW is going to help you once you get into law school. Getting an English degree is great for the grammar. Like the grammar skills, that's great. That helps with your writing. But other than that, if you just don't know what to go to school for, then I guess you can go to school for get an English degree. But other than the grammar, it didn't really help the English majors in my class that were my classmates either, because it's a whole nother way of writing that you've never heard of before. And lots of people told me that, and it did not click until I got in there and was like, holy crap, I'm not sure how to write. But it's a little more simple than you think. So good luck to everybody out there. Curious to know what your stories are, or if you have any stories yet. If you have any other questions, or I hope I explained myself to where you can understand, because I'm a little lost for words a little bit, and I'm not taken aback, but just my vocabulary is just, it's late. Anyway, this was a request video and a question that I got from a few people asking me to do this video, kind of explaining that. So if you have any requests, or you need to know anything, or you have a question, you can put it in the comments, and I usually try to reply pretty quickly because I get notifications sent to my phone. So I hope you like this video, and it's late, so I'm gonna have a good night. Hope you do too. Bye.